A pleasant and blessing day to everyone. Good day to everyone. I am UMAR MUHAMMED, also known as Calypsonian Disciple. Today, the 31st of August 2021, our nation of Trinidad and Tobago celebrates 59 years of independence. Hooray, hooray, hooray! But this morning I got up and I decided I have to say something. And about this time, 2 minutes after the hour of 10 a.m., whatever I want to say, it makes me feel sad. There are more questions than answers. And one of the main questions I'm asking is why the first people are left out of the celebration, independence celebration of Trinidad and Tobago. Why are not the first people allowed to display their arts, talent, their spirituality, to be given that priority, that front line, that exposure on Independence Day of Trinidad and Tobago? After all, they were the first people that Columbus met here. I remember when I was a boy, opposite that Columbus statue, was a greasy pole, a pole about 10 to 15 feet high. They greased on the pole with, I don't know, I think they call it tallow grease, with tallow grease. And anyone who wanted to win a $10, now in those days $10 was plenty, and a bottle of rum, or sometimes a ham, H-A-M, will have to climb the pole and reach to the top of the pole to get that award. We used to call that day Discovery Day because it was all in honor of Christopher Columbus discovering Trinidad and Tobago. But since that Discovery Day was converted into Emancipation Day, which was rightly done, I asked myself over and over again, why do we not recognize the first people of Trinidad and Tobago on Independence Day, or when we celebrate our independence? Why are we so deceitful? All the commissioners and the president and the opposition leader and the prime minister and all those who walk with their chest high, their every creed and race find an equal place, and may God, boy, I tell you, deceitfulness at its height. Why are we not allowing on Independence Day the first people to be recognized so that the nation can see them and hear them? Are we so deceitful? When Christopher Columbus came here, when the British came here, and all those from Europe who came here. They ran the first people out of where they were. And these people had to run for their lives. And that is why up to now they are where they are right now. Many of them were killed, tortured by people who came with the Bible and the cross and called themselves British and Spanish and so on. Because they plundered, they exploited, and they claimed that this land is their own so much that they built a fort on Fort Picton and Fort George. Because others were coming to wrestle them or fight them for it. And who won the fight claimed that this land is theirs. They came from thousands of miles away and claimed that this land is theirs. They exploited, they enslaved, and what they did, they built an economic foundation so that they can rule, that they can continue to enslave physically, mentally, in any way. And they say this land is theirs. So the British had us under control. So we had to sing, God Save the Queen. So we sang God Save the Queen after the Queen and her colonial people enslaved us, exploited us, whether we were indentured or otherwise. And then they tell us, if we want to be independent, we have to ask for it. Ask the criminals. Ask the exploiters. They built an economic foundation around us. They established their plantation. They established their banks. They established all what they had to establish so that we continue to be the slaves and the servants of their economic foundation. We never had a chance, and the first people never had a chance to explore themselves, to prove themselves economically, technologically, or otherwise. Because those people took advantage on us and they controlled us. Lord Harris Square, Victoria Square, King George V Park, Queen's Park, Savannah, King Street, Queen Street, Frederick Street. They label themselves all over this land. And we, especially the African race of people, had to beg them, had to look up at them, while they taught us to look down at ourselves, to fight against ourselves. How nice will it have been to see the first people in front of the parade with their flags, shaking their calabash, sprinkling their water to the earth, knowing that they are the roots of this nation, this independent nation. And we leave them out. And then we say, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place. And may God bless our nation. May God bless our nation. Yeah, it's good that they put in the word may. Because the vengeance, the reaction of our ancestors will be on this nation so much so that all political, economical foundation will have to crumble. Not by the gun, waste of time with the gun. Not by the money, but by the spirit of our ancestors absorbing themselves into the system that they built, crumbling that system so that we, the younger ones and our children in time to come, will be able to take over from there and lift ourselves up, 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 up. Those who humbleth themselves shall be exalted. So we become police chief, we become superintendent, we become prime minister, we become opposition leader, we become minister of this and that and education. Where is the education to teach our youth that these people who control our nation were criminals and plunderers, exploiters? And we glorify it, we call it history, West Indian history. Thousands of natives, of first people and others died from their sword, from their cannon, from their guns. They established their churches, their religion. They established their way of life, and we had to follow. But in these days and times, the spirit of our ancestors are manifesting in the younger ones. Not all of them, but some of them. But those who are getting that manifestation will be so strong that they'll be able, time after time, to reach back to where we should be. From whence he come, we shall return. And I'm warning all those in authority, whether 1%, 100%, or whatever it is, prime minister, archbishop, pastors, or whatever it is. We are experiencing a time when the fight is not just in Trinidad and Tobago, on this earth. The fight is coming from our ancestors, inside of the earth and outside of the earth. Inside, down inside of the earth and outside of the earth. In North America, in South America, all the spiritual foundation, the spiritual teaching will come back to life. Many will find solution within those teachings. The order of Melchizedek, the Mayas, the ancient Egyptians. The fight will be coming from on the outside. The alien beings from on the outside who will be with us. The negatives one will be there also. It's a big fight, you know. It's a big fight. It is a fight going on now. The virus is here with us. The vaccine is here with us. The nuclear competition is here with us. So it's a big fight. Many of us are wondering what to do because somebody say something is not good, somebody say something is good, and we are in a dilemma. Should I or should I not? That's the situation we are reaching. Should I send my child to school or should I not send my child to school? Should I take the vaccine or should I not? And it's a big fight. But that fight is because something will happen in the future and the war is on, so that who survives will be the winner. Whether it be white, whether it be black, yellow, pink, or whatever it is. Because the whole thing about this fight is about the rich against the poor. It's about those in control exploiting those who are not in control. That's why when George Floyd died, you saw so many people all over the world, white, whatever it is, black, whatever it is. Because many of the white people and the other races know that something is going on. And they know whether you be white, black, or whatever it is, if you don't obey the spiritual wickedness in high places, not the voodoo, not the obia, not the Haiti, they don't do people nothing. So let me stop at that nonsense about voodoo and obia and Haiti. What is happening today is spiritual wickedness in high places. The virus is a spirit. You can't see it. It's a spiritual wickedness in high places. I will not tell you do not take the vaccine. Neither will I tell you to take it. What I will ask you to do is to behave yourself. Eat and drink the things that you should eat and drink. Try to be as natural as possible. Be yourself, whether it be Indian, Chinese, African, or white. Be yourself to the point of being in line with nature. Your pineal gland, try to develop it. Your barotheric gland. And then you will make a decision. And then you will know right from wrong. And then you will be independent. Then you will be celebrating your independence. Because your independence will be based upon righteousness. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. You know where the kingdom of heaven is? Not up there, not down there. You see this thing that we call a head? That is the kingdom of heaven. When you came into this world, you came in with a head. You didn't come in headless. And that head, if you don't use that head, you will never see the kingdom of heaven. Just stupid. Eat and drink anything. Follow anybody. Go with the flow. And you'll see how much kingdom of heaven you will see when you really want to see it. You can build your heaven and hell right here on earth. It all depends on which direction you take. How long you take to get involved, because time is important. Time does not wait on a man. What about your children? What can you tell your children about independence? Why do they leave out these first people in teaching us about independence? Oh, the British and the British and the British. God save the Queen, the Union Jack. God save the Queen, the gracious, the good. if you take a people and you put them in an area and build a system around them in which that they still have to ask you for food, they still have to depend on you for survival, they still have to go to your hospital, the colonial hospital. It is not the Port of Spain General Hospital. They still have to go to the Queen's Park Savannah. They still have to walk through Victoria Square. They still have to walk down Frederick Street. And you surround them with all these colonial names and artifacts and what have you. And you build your economic system around them so that they have to depend on you for survival. How can you tell these people that they are independent? Why should you tell them that? The first people do not have a cathedral or any of the likeness of such in Port of Spain. The first people were not allowed to build an economic foundation in Port of Spain. They were here long before the Chinese, and the Chinese now have a Chinese town in Port of Spain. The Syrians, the Indians, they have all established themselves. The British, the banks, originally the Barclays banks and all, Nova Scotia, everybody. We were never given a chance to tap into our mental resources to come up with inventions and plans. We were never part of the plan. The only time we became a part of the plan is when they employed us to be police and soldiers to protect them and to continue to brutalize their own people. You must have law and order. You must have a police service. But can't you remember there was a time in Trinidad and Tobago when you lock up a big shot? It couldn't be. You lock up one of those big shots and you were sent somewhere else to work. You can't do that. I'm Mr. So-and-so's son. He could walk in his station and take out his son. Then you have the country club. Can you remember Brad Boy who killed a black boy from entering, I think it's a country club or one of those clubs? Where is Brad Boy now? Can you remember that little boy who drowned in the pool? I forgot his name. Akim or something. So what became of that? So we know that we are not independent really. When the Drag Brothers in 1970 decided that they want to be independent and they went on Frederick Street, they were harassed by the police. But let me tell you something. The police is only the police because they take orders from those on top. But those little boys on Frederick Street were not doing anything wrong. They were making their sandals and so on. They were so harassed that they said, okay, let's take Independence Square. And they want Independence Square. Then they moved them where they are right now to Piccadilly Street. When people couldn't get work and they decided to go and sell in town, they run them. The city police run them. They were trying to be independent. The Drag Brothers were trying to be independent. The man who was selling nuts on the road, he was trying to be independent. The people who were hustling on the road, pies and what have you, they were wanted to be independent. So what happens when you alone want to be independent and only say be independent? All you must understand that independence starts from the poorest man to the richest man. So the poor man is being told that he is 59 years of independent, and 59 years in this life, where all those who are 59 years and over, like me, I'm 73, where have you reached? Education, self-acknowledgement, or consciousness of ourselves as African people, all those were part of the teaching that they indoctrinated us with to make us that believe we are nobody. So if we want fun and entertainment, we have to go and we have to look at the Phantom and the Tarzan and what have you. We have to consider ourselves no good, everything black, black this, blackness. So they did a complete mental deprivation. They deprive us of what we should have for ourselves, our names, our culture. And then they come to tell us that we are independent. If we are independent, all races of people should be independent. Because every creed and race find an equal place. You find an equal place so that you could be independent. What are you looking, what are you seeing every creed and race find an equal place for? To be always underneath somebody's jacket tail, pulling it. To be always kissing somebody's bottom. No! So that we can be independent. So that every creed and every race will find an equal place. We need to add something or add some things to our independent nation. After the parade passes, we should have the Indians with their tassa drumming and the Africans with their African drumming. Or if, you know, we should have all these things on the parade. The Chinese, everybody should be able to display their culture. It shouldn't be displayed in the savannah. Or if it is displayed in the savannah, it should be displayed on the parade also. So you see the Indians with that tassa drum coming down and they're singing the Indian song, and they have the Muslims with the what they call this thing that they celebrate in St. James again. Anyhow, I forget it. And then they have the Taj Mahal and what have you, displaying all the different Indian cultures and what have you. The Africans, the Chinese, the Syrians, and everybody coming down. That will make a truly independent nation. And as much as we could find that equal place on independence, let it continue on and on and on. It's not to say we have the Africans on display with their African music and the Chinese, and after independence, nothing. So my people, as we celebrate Independence Day, everyone wants to be independent. Everyone would like to be independent. But we are encouraged to be not just independent, but to be independent in such a way so that we can be suffering from our independence and a dependency syndrome. A dependency syndrome, that's it. So I'm appealing to all people in Trinidad and Tobago. Let us in these times see what it is going on. Cut out the wickedness, because spiritual wickedness in high places is going on. Where did the virus come from? Who originated the virus, the Ebola and all these things? These things are going on. And if it in one thing, it's another. Even the man who is controlling these spiritual wickedness in high places. It's getting out of control. It's coming back on us. It's killing us. So therefore, wickedness is becoming weakness. Wickedness is becoming weakness because wickedness is becoming weak. You're creating something that is coming back to destroy you and the world when you really didn't want to destroy the world. And you have to now think of controlling it, because if you didn't control it, we all will perish. We all will be annihilated. We all will be pulverized or become like powder. Why? Because somebody thinks that he or she or some group of people think that they want to control, and the way they see things going, they have to do something so that they can maintain their control, and all of a sudden back, something gone wrong, boy. Like you think, now boy, we have to control it. So as we celebrate independence, my people, as we are experiencing virus, the COVID-19, as some of us are so confused. One scientist saying the vaccine could do this, the vaccine could do that. The next scientist saying, but I tell you, it's a confusion. Don't you realize it's a confusion? Don't you realize that the Prime Minister and all those in authority, they themselves don't know what to say, you know? Because they are only in authority. There's a difference between authority and control. They are not in control. So who is controlling them? They have to abide by it. But when you look at it, they cannot control the people. And however the people want to swing, if it's right or left, you can't do anything about it. You go kill this one, you go kill that one because he or she says so. That wouldn't stop it. You go bring laws, that wouldn't stop it. So if we want this nation to get right, you either go out and take your vaccine or you don't take it. And then those who take it and those who didn't take it, maybe in 2 to 3 years' time come, you'll be saying, you didn't take it, you know, and you see your family die out. Or we could be saying, you took it, look what has happened to you. We are confused, my people. Prime Minister, we are confused. I see you yourself too are confused, you know, because I hear you say, or else, or by force, but then you say, well, virtue also. Why I don't know. Is somebody trying to, I don't know. They all have us confused. We are wearing masks. We are breathing back the carbon dioxide that we exhale. We are sanitizing our hands, all well and good. But we are so confused that we are asking ourselves, when will it stop? Will the vaccine stop it? I cannot say yes, I cannot say no. Because these same people in authority telling you, well, if you take the vaccine, that means to say you won't get it. Somebody is hiding something. Somebody knows something. But it's the poor man who has to find out for himself. Himself said to himself, what am I going to do? I wouldn't say that we are guinea pigs on experiment. What I will say is that whoever it is doing and what they are doing, be very careful. Because not everything is perfect. And while it is, we like people to do this and to do that in order to bring things back to normalcy. Let us do it in such a way so that we can be victorious over the COVID-19. So that next year, by the will of the Most High, we can really, really celebrate independence. We can really celebrate freedom. We can really celebrate victory. My people, Umar Muhammad Traditional Disciple. Happy Independence Day, Trinidad and Tobago.